This is our mainsail, or should I say, it was our mainsail. It was over 20 years old and it got torn to shreds in a storm this past July. Last week, our new mainsail finally arrived from Hong Kong to our boat in the Dominican Republic. We took the old one off, sewed our mainsail cover up, and today we're salvaging our battens and bat slides so we can get the new mainsail on, if the weather cooperates.
Here.
Give me all kinds of sex bolts today. Ooh, what are those?
Spacers.
Oh.
This is a fancy special slide called a bat slide, apparently. And the batten goes into it, and so it supports one end of the batten, and then this goes on the boat's main mast track. The batten pushes right on this big car instead of like pushing on the cloth and making a mess of the front end of the sail. Makes it easier for the sail to go up and down. And we will be lubricating these.
And what are the spacers for?
Spacers. Oh, you kind of shove them in there on the batten side, and then that fills in between where the cloth and the
I see.
goes, and then it gives room for the batten between the cloth.
Gotcha. With the bat slides removed, cleaned, and lubricated, now it's time to install them on the new mainsail.
Well, in about a minute, when the hot knife is hot, I'm mounting another one of these. These do two jobs. They hold the end of the batten, and they slide up and down on the main track. And since they can do both jobs, the force that the full batten presses in doesn't go into the sail and bunch everything up and make it hard to raise. It goes right into the main track, metal on metal. But either they don't make these anymore, or the sailmaker couldn't find them, or they were expensive, but they asked if I would take them off the old sail, which I'm doing. Now, this actually turned out to be easier than I thought, because I had just bought this really cool soldering iron, and it has a hot knife. And this goes through this like hot knife through Dacron. Snap. There we go.
Feel weird to be punching holes in your brand new sail?
Yeah. Nice thing about doing it with a hot knife, though, is it welds it all right back together. Makes it hard, not like cloth, like hard plastic, but that doesn't matter. So I put one in, I'm going to screw that in place, because one thing that would be bad is to get them all in different places. It does just seem an odd way to connect to cloth, but it's so heavy you can bolt on. This might be interesting to some of you. This is a machine screw, but I want a machine screw on both sides, and this is called a sex nut because it's female, but it's like a machine screw, and put those together with that. And that is the name, so if you look for one, that's what you search on.
Spacers make it tight.
We had to make it this wide for the batten, and they had to make it this wide to go over this. And the strongest way to do it, have all this be metal. But if it went down without the spacers, you'd never get it over this bolt rope.
Gotcha.
So I think they made a good design here. That last one, you drill through the batten, and then it locks the batten right into everything. But, not yet. lubing up the slides before I put them up. You don't want these jamming. I've discovered over the years there's nothing better than this. It's called Teamic Lube, kind of a dumb name, but this stuff is like crazy slippery. We'll put a link below if we can find it on Amazon. If not, you can get it at West Green, but you know, crazy expensive. But it's, I just don't know to see without it. This track just wouldn't, every season you start with spraying this on and it works.
Shipping 18-foot battens would be extremely inconvenient, and as you know, we don't like to buy stuff unless we absolutely need it. So we're salvaging our old battens. These need some repair, but first we need to make sure they fit in these nice tight pockets on our new mainsail.
Well, we finally got it on the boat. The mainsail is up. I don't know if you've ever dealt with a heavy sailcloth. It's about 600 square feet of heavy cloth. It's like wrestling Godzilla. Anyway, it's there. Sail cover's on it. It's all assembled, and I'm really happy with it. I've got to do some work with battens. Some of our battens need repair and extension and such, but it looks like the sailmaker followed my instructions to a T. I can't see a thing that's wrong with it. It's just going to be so nice having a performance-shaped sail again on this boat. I'm really very happy. So thanks to Lee Sails for doing such a good job on this project. Had to do some modification to the cover, and it's really tight as you can see, but that's because it's such a new sail, and it's not really folded, it just kind of dropped into place. That'll look better when we wrestled it a little more. I had to modify it pretty heavily, change the way it attaches to the boat, and that made it just a tad bit smaller. So that has a bit to do with it. We had a new sail made because, as you know from an earlier video, this one got destroyed during a storm getting here. So how does one get sails made nowadays? When I had its predecessor made, went to a sail loft in the US, someone came out to the boat, measured it all up, and they sewed it themselves and stood behind it and were there. That was good, made me feel really good. I'm glad I did it because I was 28 or something and nervous about such things. But it was $5,500 back then. Now it appears nobody in the US except real boutique places are making their own sails anymore. It's all being done in China. So if you go to a sailmaker, they might take your measurements, but they just send them to Asia. The sail is made, they come back, they might do a little finishing, a few of them do, but for the most part, They just put it on your boat for you and charge you a markup. So there's a bunch of sailmakers in Asia you can go to directly. You have to give them your own measurements, and you have to carefully make the measurements. We did a video on how to measure your sail, and this is what they do. Now, we went with Lee sails. I can't say they're like a lot better than the others because I've never dealt with the others. They gave us a good, fair price. Looked like they knew what they were doing. And they had one advantage in my book long ago. In my first boat, my 25-foot boat, I decided to try Lee Sails, an Asian upstart sailmaker, to do a spinnaker. And it was really easy to work with them, and it came out great. So I decided I'm going to try it again. Now, everything I've seen on this sail, I haven't seen any flaws. I haven't seen anything that isn't done like really well. So I think I'm going to be quite happy with it. We'll not really know until we sail with it, but it fits, and that's my biggest worry. You know, it'd get here, it'd be 6 inches too large, and 6 inches too big is way worse than 6 inches too small because you just can't fly the sail. Anyway, happy with what I've got.